What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 136 of Pokemon Trading Card Game Online. My name, of course, is Blaze, and today, as promised, I'll be showing you more details on the deck that I've been using, that I'm going to be using all month this month. Let's see here. So, yesterday I tried it out for the first time, and it did not go super well. It didn't go poorly, but it didn't go super well. So right now it's tentatively called Venusaur, only because it uses Venusaur. I'm probably going to change the name at some point because I'm not really happy with that one. But this is the deck. So as you can see, it has Audino and Mega Audino. Just because I want to be able to do some damage to the bench. Mega Audino does 110 damage. And if you use a supporter card this turn, you actually do an extra 50 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So I think that's actually pretty useful, especially if they have, you know, a Rattata on the bench or something like that. Mega Audino would actually be able to kill that in one hit. Magikarp, a couple others too that have like 50 damage. That's actually going to knock them out in one hit. I think yesterday, if you watched yesterday, I actually did manage to pick up 3 prize cards by knocking out an EX Pokemon in the active slot and knocking out a benched Pokemon. So that was actually a pretty quick way to get 3 knockouts. The downside here is that Mega Audino, like all Pokemon, can die. So if it gets knocked out, it kind of ruins my plans. I may actually end up putting more Mega Audino in this deck once I get them, if I get them, because it is pretty useful. I do like this card. So next up we've got Venusaur EX. 180 HP, Poison Powder for 60 damage, will Poison, and Jungle Hammer for 90, heals 30 from this Pokemon. Pretty standard Grass-type Pokemon where it does either Poison or, you know, heals itself. Sometimes they paralyze. So Poison Powder is not bad for 60 damage, and Jungle Hammer for 90 could kill another EX Pokemon on 2 hits. So there's that. But I got him in here because of Mega Venusaur EX. Which does 120 damage and will paralyze and poison my opponent. I came into a situation yesterday where my opponent was able to discard energy cards left and right, so I literally could not get this Pokemon powered up, and it was the only Pokemon I had out in play. So you know, I had this in the active, I had nothing else on the bench, and I could not do anything. So it was very frustrating. But you know, I was able to. I didn't win that match, and that's fine. I don't expect to win a whole lot of matches right now, but it's a process. You know, by the end of the month, hopefully I'll be able to go into a tournament and actually, you know, do quite well and maybe start winning some battles. But as of right now, today, we gotta start somewhere, right? So this is a brand new deck, obviously. So I also put in here Yanmega Break and Yanmega because I like the ability here. If you have 4 cards in your hand, ignore all energy in the attack cost of each of your Pokemon's attacks. So he could potentially do 100 damage every turn without having any energy attached to him, which is pretty great. And of course he could also do 150 with Assault Boom and add weakness and resistance to that. If my opponent is weak to grass, it would be 300 damage. So he could potentially kill something that's weak to grass. A lot of water Pokemon are Blastoise EX, Mega Blastoise EX. That would be pretty good. So it hasn't come in handy yet, but I think I'm going to continue to keep it in the deck and see what happens. So next up we've got Remoraid, which I only have in there for Octillery and his ability to be able to draw 5 cards every turn. You know, I don't with it being a basic Pokemon and not a EX. You know, losing 1 prize card when this gets knocked out is not that big of a deal to me. Losing the ability would be worse than losing the prize card for me, I think. But so those are the Pokemon I have in this deck. As far as the trainer cards, I'm not going to go through all of them one by one, but you can kind of see what I've got in here. A lot of people on my channel and in general, I've seen a lot of people use Trainer's Mail. So I put a couple of them in here, but as of right now, I'm not convinced that this is the best card for this deck. I don't. For me, and it's just me, it's just my personal opinion on the card. It doesn't mean that it's fact or anything like that, but in my experience playing the game with Trainer's Mail, sure, you can look at the top 4 cards of your deck and you end up shuffling those back into your hand. I just don't like the idea of of using this card and getting nothing from it. Like that scares me more than anything else. Sure, I might get the card that I need. Sure, I might get a different card that's also useful, but I might also not reveal anything and, you know, not have a card in my hand. So, you know, it is what it is, and I'm not saying it's a good card or a bad card. This is a card that I may end up cycling out for like an energy retrieval or some kind of like fisherman or something like that. Just because I know that, I mean, just yesterday alone, I had so many energy cards in my discard pile, it was ridiculous, and it got really frustrating. So, you know, I don't have a lot of energy in this deck. I have 14, which I guess is probably a lot compared to what some decks run, but you know, I don't come across energy cards that often, which may or may not be a good thing or a bad thing. But you know, it's all play test, so we'll see how it goes. I've also got the Forest of Giant Plants in there, so I can go ahead and evolve on the first turn should I get that card out. I've got the Spirit Links and a Float Stone. The downside to having a Float Stone is I can't really attach it to Mega Venusaur EX because this card will be on there. So the Trainer card, you know, so this Trainer's Mail might actually get switched out for that card that discards tool cards. I can't remember what it's called. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Is it Eco Arm? No, it's not. It is... I want to say it's like Megaphone or something, and I think it might only be an expanded set, but, you know, I may have to switch it out for that. I don't want to play expanded with this deck because I don't feel like that would be ideal. I kind of like playing standard because there's only there's a limit to how many different types of decks you can come across and what they're capable of. Expanded it can be a nightmare. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into a match right now. I'm going to open up a couple of packs of cards later on in the episode. So this would be the second episode of 2017. I'm really excited for 2017. I'm so glad that you've joined me today. I actually have a new avatar here, new year, new me. So, you know, there we go. But I'm excited for this year. I think there's a lot of cool stuff going on this year. I didn't have anything happen to me last year that was really great. I mean, aside from the videos and what I've been doing here, kind of laying some groundwork. But I'm excited. I hope that you're excited for it too. I hope that you had a great New Year's celebration. I hope that you were safe and you were happy. And I hope that you get everything that you want out of this year. I meant to say that yesterday, but I didn't really get a chance to. I kind of slipped my mind. But I really do hope that you have a great year this year. And stick with me because I think this is going to be a wild ride coming up in the future of this channel. So stay tuned. Currently, I am trying to mod my 3DS. It's actually going through a couple of installation processes to try to get custom firmware on it so I can stream 3DS video. So that is currently happening. Hopefully it works out and I don't brick anything. That'd be unfortunate. But I think that it's going to be fun. This year is going to be a good year. So I hate you so much. So if you play a Snorlax GX, it's pretty much guaranteed that you have 4 double colorless energy in your deck. It's pretty much a guarantee. Like there's no reason why you wouldn't have 4 double colorless energy in your deck. I'm really hoping for Forest of Giant Plants because that would really help out. Did not get it. That's fine. But what would be great is to be able to play that right now and evolve right into Mega Venusaur. I want to make him switch because I don't really like what... I know what he's doing. He's going to use Hypno to put himself asleep and then do 180 damage. Which is kind of scary. I don't like that at all. But I may not be able to knock out this Hypno, but I can stall for a turn. Because he has to either use a switch or put an energy card on Drowsy in order to make him go back to the bench. And I know that he doesn't want Drowsy out there. So I might be able to poison him, which would be great. Fighting Fury Belt, great. That's wonderful. So if you're new to my channel, thank you for tuning in. I do videos every Monday through Friday on the Pokemon Trading Card Game Online. I would love to see you there. I talk about Pokemon, I talk about Nintendo, I talk about all kinds of stuff on my channel, and I am always looking for new topics. I think I just heard a rumor that the Nintendo Switch version of Pokemon, whether it's Pokemon Sun and Moon or Eclipse or whatever it's going to be called, is going to have 20 new Pokemon in it. So that's exciting. I think that's going to be pretty cool if that does end up coming to fruition. So hopefully, hopefully that's something that does work out. That would be great. Here's what I'm going to do. On this turn right here, I'm going to put the Float Stone on Venusaur. Because I can't attack anyway, I don't want to waste this on an attack. I'm just going to go ahead and evolve. And even though, oh, you know what, maybe I should evolve into the other one. No, that's fine. I'll do this. I'll evolve into the, I'll evolve Remoraid on the next turn. But at this point, I do have, I'm able to attack, almost. Actually, I'm not. I forgot that double colorless energy does not work out very well for this Venusaur. I should have kept it the way it was. Kind of expected end to happen. I don't think he has any energy cards right now. I think that's why he's doing it. Otherwise, I think he'd be trying to retreat with Hypno. And even if he did retreat with Hypno, he needs to get energy onto Snorlax in order to do anything. So he is probably expecting me to go ahead and knock out Hypno at this point. And that's fine. I need some more Pokemon on the bench, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So, see, and that's the thing there, is that I could either choose to evolve Remoraid, or I could get another Pokemon on my bench. So, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad at all. I probably should have evolved Remoraid, because I could have done a little bit more with that, but I only have 2 energy cards. Oh gosh, this is going to be bad. This is going to be really bad. So, I don't think I'm going to have enough to do any damage to anything. 60 plus, he's 90. That'd be 80 damage total. He's going to be able to get out of sleep whenever he wants. That's cool. I think I kind of made a mistake. I probably should have gotten into Octillery sooner rather than later, just to be able to draw cards as often as I need to. It's a learning process. I don't think the first few matches with my Fairy deck last month went very well either, but I made some adjustments, and I may end up getting rid of Venusaur, maybe at least Mega Venusaur, not because he's bad, but because it's scary. Okay, so I thought I was out of energy cards, but I'm not. So that works out. So I could paralyze him and poison him, which would be great. I will probably paralyze him and poison him as long as I can wake up, and I have a means to heal myself. So should that happen where I can't wake up, that doesn't put me to sleep, does it? No, he didn't use that. Okay, that's what happened. I was kind of concerned there as far as like what just happened, but that's cool. I can go ahead and use the attack now, which will paralyze him and poison him. 140 damage by the time it gets back to me, unless he heals it. I guess he can use that to put us both asleep again, and that would be bad. Because I think that a new special condition will overwrite the previous special condition, so that kind of sucks. I'm going to have to get a Lysander out so I can get rid of that Hypno. Yeah. So he's got 230 HP right now. And I have to heal. Wow. So it's almost better to leave him asleep, but I can't really do that. 120 is going to do 230. I think that's going to kill him. And the poison damage will also hurt him. Okay. I will take that, sir. So I figured he was going to use another EX. I gotta get this Snorlax out of here. Okay, well, I guess that was... I kind of thought that was going to happen because I just had this feeling that if I knock out one of his Snorlax and he doesn't have any energy cards, he doesn't have anything else to do. So I had this feeling he was in kind of a bind. But oh well, I mean, it worked out. So let's go into another match here real quick, and then we'll get to opening 2, possibly 3 more Evolutions booster packs. That'd be fun. I actually am trying to get... I don't really need anything from that set anymore, but I would love to have some other cards from that set, some more of the cards that I have. Pidgeot would be great. I'd love to have a Pidgeot. I would love to have the Dragonite that you just saw. That would be a great card to have too. It would probably fit pretty well with the last deck, the Fairy deck, just because I'm able to get cards from the discard pile and put them into my hand, I think. It's either the hand or the bench. And then from there, I can just deal another 110 damage, discard my bench, and I can actually discard... I think it goes into your hand. Something tells me it goes into your hand, but I can actually discard Dragonite into the discard pile, and then use a revive to bring him back onto the bench. That wouldn't work. Oh well, I'm just thinking out loud. Don't mind me. So this person's not going to load the game. That's cool. I'll take a free victory. Always. So I'm 1-3 right now. I've actually got a 1-3 record. This might be 1-4. I don't like counting when people disconnect on me, but I'll take it. I mean, it's a good way to say that I've gotten some wins. Okay, let's go into another match. I will certainly take a free victory. I'm not going to complain. How about that? So right now I'm 50% on this deck. Again, I don't like boasting about that because there have been disconnects. Maybe I'll keep track of how many disconnects I've had on this deck. That'll be probably a good metric to keep track of. But let's go ahead and see what else we got. But I think that'll be an interesting stat. I mean, of course, if you take out those disconnects, how well does this deck fare? So I'll try to keep track of that throughout the month and let you know how many disconnects this deck has. I'll probably put it on screen somewhere too, probably, but we'll see. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get this started. I have a Yanma, which I'm not too psyched about having Yanma as the first Pokemon, although it could work out. As long as I can get if I can get Yanmega on the first draw, perfect. If I can get Forest of Giant Plants, perfect. If I can get so what's he going to do? It can use the attacks of my Pokemon, but needs the energy. Attach an energy from the discard pile to this Pokemon. So I'm going to go ahead and Trainer's Mail to see what I can get. Elixirs, I guess that's fine. I don't have anything on the bench, though. I don't want to start attaching energy to him because of the evolution. I really need to go ahead and get some Pokemon on the bench. That would be ideal. So I'm going to go ahead and get this. Maybe I should go with this, but I don't feel like this person has a very strong deck. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be completely transparent with you. I don't think this person's deck is the greatest. I'm going to risk it. Risk it for the biscuit. So, another Ditto, huh? So he can use my attacks, but he still needs the required energy to use my attacks. So what is the play here? Of course, he can get energy attached to his bench from the discard pile, but there's nothing in the discard pile. This is perfect. Although I wish I would have had it 20 seconds ago. I can at least evolve, so that's good. I'll do that. I can definitely get down to 4 cards. That's no problem. Let's go ahead and go with that. Let's go ahead and go with that. I have a feeling Audino is going to be the star of this deck. Something tells me that's probably going to be the case. So that's 5 cards. This will make it 4. And I can do the attack. 50 damage. If there's a tool card, he does some extra damage, but I mean, I can't put a tool card on him. So I think there is a tool card I can actually use to put on my opponent. So maybe in the future I will look into that. But ooh, 50 damage. That's perfect. That's actually exactly what I wanted you to do. So I'm going to evolve right here. I'm going to heal up. Ha! You only got 3 cards. You're not going to be able to attack me. Watch how I do them. This is it right here. Now I've got 4 cards. 100 damage. Not affected by any weakness or resistance. There's a KO. So he's got 2 other cards on the bench. I don't know what his plan is. I haven't seen anything. I wonder if he's just throwing something together to see what kinds of things he can get away with. Firo. You may play this card from your hand to evolve Pokemon during your first turn or the turn you play that Pokemon. So that's fine. Nosedive for 80 damage would be pretty devastating. At this point, though, I don't have any reason to believe that he's going to do anything. I'm going to go ahead and use in, because it's gonna put 5 cards in my hand. One of those will likely be a energy card, and I can just attach an energy. Have 4 cards left, and that's exactly what I thought was going to happen. Next turn, I can go ahead and Versus Seeker for Skyla, and then Skyla for the evolution, the Spirit Link for Audino. Evolve Audino, and that should be another 4 in my hand. Shouldn't have to worry about that. I don't know why I didn't use that evolution card to get Remoraid. That would have been... I keep forgetting about Remoraid. I put him on my bench, and I'm like, oh, I'll just use him, and then I never end up using the card. I'm a little backwards there. So I thought that would happen too, so that's cool. 3 victories today. I will take it for sure. Of course, there was a disconnect on there, but that's not too bad. Not too bad. So I'm going to go ahead and open up some packs of cards, and then we'll move on to tomorrow's episode. Tomorrow's episode, I have nothing planned. But it'll be fun. I mean, I think we do have some, of course I'm doing some more matches. I might end up taking out those trainer's mail. They kind of came in handy on this match, so maybe I'll leave them in just for now, but you know, it's hard to say. I don't know if they're going to come in handy as often as I think they should, but they didn't not come in handy today, so maybe that's an indication of what I should or shouldn't do. But we'll see. Here is the first pack of evolutions. We have, boom, Starmie. So I've gotten all of these cards except for this Haunter. I have this Haunter, but it's a holofoil Haunter. So, of course, Starmie has 90 HP. Its Space Beacon will allow you to discard a card from your hand and then put 2 energy cards from your discard pile into your hand. And then Starfreeze for 30 damage. If heads, your opponent's Pokemon is paralyzed. So not too bad. Starmie Break is pretty good. It does 100 damage to every Pokemon break on your opponent's side. So it can actually come in quite handy. As far as Haunter, 70 HP, Hypnosis, puts your opponent's active Pokemon to sleep. And Dream Eater for 80 damage will do nothing if your opponent is not asleep. There are ways to put your opponent to sleep, so don't think that that's not a valid strategy. Although Gengar is a much better card, I think, in general. It does a lot more things that are, what's the word? You want to get Gengar out. I don't know if you'd want to waste your time with Haunter. 80 damage is pretty good, and there's a lot of Pokemon that are weak to Psychic type, and Haunter is weak to Darkness, so that's not really, you know, most Psychic types are weak to Psychic, but this one's weak to Darkness, so that's a little different. I think that Haunter could potentially do 160 damage, which is almost enough to knock out most EXs, like a Mewtwo, unless they're a Mega EX, and it's kind of different. But, you know, I don't know. I guess if you look at this Gengar, 130 HP, Sinister Fog, it will poison your opponent, put 1 damage counter on each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. And then Creepshow will knock out a Pokemon that has 3 or more damage counters on it, the active Pokemon only. So, you know, I like this card a lot, but there's something to be said about Haunter as well. Not that it's like the best card ever, but there is something to be said about it. So let's move on. Energy Retrieval lets you put 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile into your hand. I thought about putting this in my deck, but I think it's better the way it is, mainly because I didn't run out of energy cards, and I for some reason I thought I was going to, but I'd used an elixir, and that's where I got confused. But there were only 2 energy cards in the first 4 cards, whereas I thought that was the whole deck. But I don't think I need this, to be honest. I needed it once, or could have used it once, but not enough to warrant putting it in the deck. So Nidorino, 90 HP, Horn Attack for 20 damage, and Fury Attack for 30 damage, times the number of heads, after flipping 3 coins. Double Colorless Energy. Never have too many of those. I've got 8. Charmander has 60 HP, Scratch for 10 damage, and Ember for 30. Discard a Fire Energy attached to this Pokemon. We've got Rattata for 40 HP, Bite for 10 damage, and Mischievous Fang makes your opponent's active Pokemon discard all tool cards when you play this card from your hand. So that can be pretty devastating if your opponent has a Fighting Fury Belt and they've already exceeded their maximum HP, or they've met their maximum HP. Make them discard their Fighting Fury Belt, and boom, you get an instant KO. Ghastly with 40 HP, Little Grudge. During your opponent's next turn, if this Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an attack, discard all energy attached to the attacking Pokemon. Not bad. Not bad at all. And then Nightmare for 20 damage. Flip a coin. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep if heads. So Little Grudge has a disadvantage that if your opponent's attack already makes them discard all their energy card, then that's not really going to help out very much. But, I mean, it can come in handy. Steel Energy. I love this texture behind the energy. I think it's probably my favorite texture, one of them. And then Growlithe with 70 HP. Hind Kick does 10 damage. And Flare for 20. So I'm probably going to go ahead and open up the last 2 packs here, just because, you know, we're not too far away from the 30-minute mark, and I want to make sure I get these out of the way, start opening up some other stuff. I'm not expecting anything super good from these 2 packs. I don't know why. Maybe because I haven't gotten anything really super good in the past, but okay. Nidoking. 150 HP, Rumble does 40 damage. The defending Pokemon can't retreat during your opponent's next turn. And Tail Swing for 100 damage does 20 damage to each of your opponent's benched basic Pokemon. So I like Nidoking. I think 100 damage is a pretty decent amount. Could do 200 if your opponent is weak to it. to Psychic, I mean. And, you know, I think that it could come in handy, but Nidoking and Nidoqueen are, I think, highly underrated Pokemon. They should have better attacks, but they're not bad. Coughing has 60 HP. Foul Gas for 10 damage. Flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. If tails, they are now confused. We just saw Energy Retrieval in the last set. We saw Nidorino in the last pack. We got a double colorless Energy. Saw that before. I'm up to 9 of those now. I actually have more from different sets, but in this set alone I have 9. Saw Ghastly last time. Sandshrew will do 60 damage, or has 60 HP, sorry. Sand Attack for 10 damage. The defending Pokemon has to flip a coin in order to attack on the next turn. So if it's tails, they can't do their attack. Magikarp has 30 HP. Flail does 10 damage times the number of damage counters on this Pokemon. Could do up to 20 damage or possibly up to 60 damage if you have a Fighting Fury Belt, but at that point you're kind of wasting a Fighting Fury Belt. So use it at your own risk. Vulpix, 60 HP. Confuse Ray does 20 damage and will confuse the opponent's active Pokemon on a heads flip. And of course, Electabuzz does 60 HP. Thundershock for 10 damage will paralyze on a heads flip, and Thunder Punch does 30 damage plus 10 damage if heads, and then does 10 damage to itself if you flip it tails. So there is that. Next up, the final pack of the Evolutions run. I won 20 packs last Monday, and I'm finally down to the last pack to open up. This actually is not my most complete set right now. My most complete set, ironically enough, is Generations, which you can't even purchase right now. So, you know, I don't know how that happened, but I have bought a lot of Generations packs, so. Ooh, all right, excellent. This is actually exactly what I wanted. So Dragonite EX is 180 HP. Hyper Beam does 130 damage. Discard an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Such a great attack. I may end up putting this in my deck. This deck, because it's a great card. Pull up, when you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may put 2 basic Pokemon from your discard pile into your hand, but you cannot pull Dragonite EX. Any other basic, any other EX, any other basic Pokemon you can pull out, but you can't pull Dragonite EX. So this card will be great in my last deck, so I need to kind of go through that and edit it a little bit to put this card in it. But it's a good card, I think. It's a very good card, and there is no Mega, so you can put a Fighting Fury Belt on it with ease. And 130 damage is pretty good. It won't ever do double that because there's nothing weak to normal or colorless type Pokemon, but I'm pretty stoked that I got this card, let me tell you. That's awesome. We also got Arcanine, 130 HP, Scorching Breath with 150 damage. Pokemon can't attack during your next turn. And Burning Road allows you that when you make this Pokemon your active Pokemon during this turn, you can take all the fire energy cards attached to your Pokemon and move them to this Pokemon. So you can have an instant powered up Arcanine with just making this Pokemon your active. So I like this card. I'd actually like to make a deck built around this strategy. Not sure how successful that would be, but it'd be fun to use, I think. Kakuna, 80 HP. Stiffen will reduce damage done by attacks by 40 on the next turn, on your opponent's turn. And Poison Powder does 20, but also will poison on a heads flip. Full Heal is a great card. Remove all special conditions from your active Pokemon. Machoke with 90 HP. Karate Chop does 60 damage minus 10 for each damage counter on this Pokemon. And Submission is 80 damage, but does 20 damage to itself. There is a Machamp Break, which I would love to have. I don't have it yet. Let's see. Machamp Break does Boomerang Lariat, and that will do, during your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon attacks do 100 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. It'll do 200 damage every single turn. That's crazy. Well, except for the first turn. So the first turn is 100 damage. The second turn is 200. Third turn is 200. As long as you keep using Boomerang Lariat, you really can't lose. So I'd love to have this card, but I don't have it yet. Anyway, next up we've got Energy, Leaf Energy, Grass Energy, whatever you want to call it. We've got Poliwag, 60 HP, Water Gun for 30 damage. Also got Doduo, 60 HP, Fury Attack does 10 damage times the number of heads. Seal with 80 HP. Growl is going to reduce damage done by attacks by 20 during your opponent's next turn, and Headbutt does 20 damage. And then last but not least, Staryu with 60 HP, Quick Blow does 10 damage plus 10 more if you flip heads. So that is going to be it for me, folks. I really do appreciate you watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'll be back tomorrow with another exciting episode of Pokemon Trading Card Game Online, and I will catch you on the flippity flop.